Good morning, school family. Happy Sunday. Hope you've enjoyed your weekend. Has been beautiful weather. It's a little bit chilly out there today, but definitely get out and get some fresh air if you are able to. So this week we are moving in finally to our full day schedule of in-person and virtual learning. So my students that are going to be coming to school for cohort A on Monday and Tuesday, and my students that will be coming to school in cohort B on Thursday and Friday, we are working our schedule for a full day now. So once again, our schedule is changing. We tried our best as a kindergarten team to try to keep as much of what we had during the 2-week early dismissal time the same. And then you'll notice as you're looking at the schedule, which I emailed out last Thursday. So if you need that, please reach out and let me know. I can text it to you. I can email it to you, however you need it. That as we're moving into that full day schedule, there are definitely some additional things that we are able to add in. So when we were working solely in a virtual platform, there were certain parts of our curriculum where time did just not lend itself to be able to do it. So one area I'm thinking of is that content and writing. During our virtual learning, we were kind of meshing doing math small groups in with doing some content and writing small groups. And when we talk about content, we're talking about all the pieces that lend itself to that essential question that we work on for the week. So for example, last week we worked on different animals that are animals at the zoo, animals at the farm. So that content and writing time is kind of like a paired activity where that work we're doing in shared reading is really directly lending itself to a writing activity. Sometimes it's more of a personal connection. You're really going to see that this week. When we get to our work of the week in a few minutes, my very favorite story in our curriculum that we're going to do, and I think our students are going to love it. But you'll notice that the work that we're going to be doing in shared reading is going to roll right into that content and writing time. And what's nice about this is we have not had a ton of time to focus on writing, talking about the traits to be a good writer. I've tried to kind of sprinkle it and dabble it in a little bit as we've done small groups, but it's really challenging with the schedule that we had before. So that's one major blessing about this full day schedule is that we will be able to do that. I want you to consider as you're looking at the schedule, the in-person side of things, you're going to see going till the very end of the day when we dismiss at 3:55. And then you'll notice in our virtual time, we tried to get our students the most bang for their buck in those earlier hours so that they are not completely burnt out and exhausted in the afternoon. So we saved that independent practice time, which would be RAS Plus, First in Math, your choice board, any other kind of additional activities that you want to be more of that study or focus time for your students, that's going to take place mostly in the afternoon. So that as you're logging off or you're noticing that maybe your student is having a tough day because they're just exhausted from being logged in, that's a time that you can use how you see fit. I also just want to give reminders that on this channel, this YouTube channel, if you go back to last school year's videos, this was around the time we closed last year. And that's what kind of birthed this YouTube channel. I did not use that previously, but it was a way for me to record multiple lessons a day and send them out to my students from last year. And it was awesome because it was just another tool for them to use where you didn't necessarily have to be sitting beside them for the work to take place. So if you want to go back and use some of those videos for independent time, there are phonics ones, there are shared reading ones, and a lot of the shared reading ones were ones that I kind of just pulled out of my teacher hat of things I could use as a resource from home since the shutdown was unexpected and I didn't have all my resources. But a lot of them will be great practice. My routines, I'm sure you've noticed by now, our students are very strong in them. And so those routines you're going to see with my previous class and how those videos are created are going to be very similar to a lot of the things that we're working on at the same current time. So go ahead and go back and check that out. You can just put them on it, hit play, and you can go and they can do work. Sometimes there's writing activities with it. Phonics has a lot of those dictation activities where they're sounding out the words, which we do in whole group time. Any kind of that extra practice, nothing can go wrong with it. Any extra is wonderful. Okay, so consider that for this week. Next week, if you need something additional for your students to do. The videos, I want to say there's about 75 of them. So if you want to go back and take a look through them and see something you think your student would be interested in, definitely utilize that. Okay? All right, let's jump into our work of the week. So for shared reading this week, as I said, this is my very favorite story. I'm not sure why. I just really, really love it. So this week we are going to move away from zoo animals and farm animals and move into pets. and talk about all the things that go into owning a pet. I'm sure that your students have asked you to buy them an animal. Maybe you have pets at home, and we all know pets can be a lot of work. We have no pets in the Walker household. We have no thoughts or ideas about ever getting a pet. They are a lot of work, and in our busy, fast-paced life, that can be very challenging. So some of the texts we're going to read this week, and we're going to jump into it, are going to really talk a lot about how you can take care of a pet, the different types of pets there are, and just all of the things that revolve around that. Okay, so on Monday and Tuesday, we're going to be reading a text called The Birthday Pet. It is a fictional text about this little boy who just dreams of having a turtle. He wants a turtle so bad. And so his birthday is coming, and his family keep giving him pets. And none of them are the pet that he wants. He just wants this turtle. And I love this book because it's another one where the rhyming words on the page give the predictive answer for what's going to happen on the next page. So they go through all of the different animals, and it gives the students a chance at the beginning, before we've read it, to be able to guess, but based on those rhyming words, what the pet is going to be that his family is giving to him. Okay, so we're going to do characters and setting and event on Monday, and we know the characters are the people or the animals or the creatures in a fictional text. Setting, we know, is just where they are, and that can also relate to time, if it's passing through the week, if it's from the morning to the evening, and then event. All those details within the story that help the story to make sense. I always say to our students that if you came to a person and they said, tell me about the birthday pet, all those important details that they could pick out, those would be those events, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the text. Okay, so that's going to be Monday. Tuesday, we're going to do the, did you say it, my friends? Relationship between the illustrations and the text. So how the author works to make the words match what the illustration is going to be. And sometimes we do a little bit of trivia or chat about what happens if that doesn't happen. Does this picture go with these words? And our students are getting really good at doing that. It's a lot of fun when we get to use chat box trivia and they get to use the chat box to type in their answers. Okay, so that's Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is asynchronous. It is also Mr. Walker's birthday. It is also St. Patrick's Day. So we may be doing for morning meetings some fun activities for St. Patrick's Day for those who might be celebrating. Sometimes when we're at school, a sneaky leprechaun somehow gets into our classroom and we have to figure out a way to try and trap him. And every year we've tried, and my friends, if you're listening, every year we have not been able to catch him, but we might try and see what we can do to maybe get him this year. So we will try that on Wednesday for morning meeting. Maybe a little bit on Tuesday too while I have my students in the classroom. Okay, so if it's Wednesday and it's asynchronous, you are doing whatever fits best for your family. I will have my one-on-one sessions on Wednesday. Fingers crossed, no meetings or anything come up that interfere with that. And then moving on to Thursday, we're going to read a text called The Family Pet. This is the one, and it's going to be about author's purpose. The author's purpose of this text is to talk about if you're thinking of getting an animal, and this is nonfiction, which one should you get? A low maintenance pet, like a fish, a high maintenance pet, like a dog that requires walking and all these things. And I know some of our friends have animals at home, cats, dogs. I've seen some of them come on camera. August's cat Butter loves to come on and try and learn. So we're going to talk about, as we read, why did the author write this? He wants you to think about, if you're thinking about buying a pet, you need to do your research and decide. So we're going to read that as a team on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to read a very short fictional text called The Perfect Pet. And that's going to be asking and answering questions about the details that are in the text. Okay, so that's for shared reading. Moving on to phonics. This is a very important week in phonics. We are finally completing our vowels. And my friends will tell you, we sing our vowel song. A, E, I, O, U. These are the vowels. A, E, I, O, U. Listen to the sound. That vowels are special because they have two sounds. We are finishing out with the hardest vowel, in my opinion. It's E. This is the sign for E. And my students will put their hand on their chin and you pull it down. Eh, eh, eh. What's tricky about E is it sounds a lot like ah, the A sound. It's tricky too because sometimes it sounds like I, the I sound. So we really try and enforce with our students and talk about the movement my mouth makes when I do the sound. A is like a big old apple. Ah, my mouth is nice and wide. When I do the E sound, eh, 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 I don't have to open my mouth up wide to make the sound. I kind of just keep it small. So we put that there on their chin just as a reminder as I drop it, my chin drop, eh, eh, eh. It kind of clips differently than that ah, ah, ah sound with a wide open mouth. So that's just something to touch on if you are working with your student this week on their choice board, or you're thinking about having them do some additional practice. That E sound can definitely be tricky. So that's going to be on Monday and Tuesday, and we'll focus on it in the beginning of words, and of course in the middle. Continue to work on that blending and segmenting, super duper important, and we are just getting so amazing at it. It makes me so happy. And then on Thursday and Friday, another tricky letter, we're going to work on letter Q. And for Q, the sign is like this, like you're pinching something and you hold it down and we shake it. Qua, qua, qua. And we're going to learn about a special rule with Q that, and if you think about this, parents, and I've had parents say to me, I didn't know all these phonics rules. And we don't, of course, as adults, we don't remember how we learn the letters, but you'll never see Q without a U. So we always say Q when you are stuck like glue. Q when you are stuck like glue. In every word that you write, if there is a Q, there's always going to be a U. And that's one of those grammatical rules that some friends will pick up on right away. And when they write, they'll remember the U in there. But if they are trying by themselves to write these words and they hear the qua and they know that Q says qua and they only do the Q, that's okay too. That QU is something that will stick in their brain as time moves on. Okay, so that's for phonics. For math this week, we are going to be moving on from 2D shapes, so flat shapes, to solid shapes, 3D shapes. So Monday, we're going to play a game called the Mystery Bag. I think friends are really going to like this. They loved There's a Shape in My Pocket last week and have requested that we play it quite often. So I'm happy about that they're enjoying math. Tuesday, we're going to do What is a Sphere? So we're going to talk about all the attributes of a sphere and do some activities with that. Thursday, we're going to do an activity called Which Cylinder Holds More? And so we're using all those 3D shapes to do different activities that lend themselves to some of the mastery content in the curriculum. And then on Friday, we're going to be shape detectives, and we're going to do some different activities with that. So we're moving right along in our math curriculum. Number Corner is really going strong. Our students are getting so good in their routines with that. It makes my heart so happy, and I feel like I say that every week, but it is true that they are working so hard, and that even from home, those routines are sticking, and I'm seeing them as they come into the classroom. Okay, so that is it for the work of the week. Just a note to my parents that have car riding students that are in person. We know that dismissal line can get very long in the afternoon. It is a very important process to make sure that our students are socially distanced. In the past, we would have done dismissal where all the students kind of came out together and they were handed to their parent, and the process was a lot faster. But in the world that we're living in now and having to be safe with CDC guidelines, that dismissal line does take a long time. So we just ask that you're patient, and that if you have not yet, make sure you are sticking your student's number in your window. That will make the process much easier as well. They'll see the number, they call it into the cafeteria, we hear it, we say the student's name and get their number, and they come on down, and then they are dismissed to you. So thank you for being fabulous with that so far. Just important that now that we're moving into this full day, parents that are doing pickup, the process can be a little bit longer. So we just want to make sure we're being patient and sticking with that. Okay, and I think that is everything. Get outside today, enjoy some sunshine, and I will see you tomorrow morning, my in-person friends, at 9:10 when they enter the building, and my friends that are virtual by 9:25. Have a great day. Mwah.